Welcome back to my Countdown to Retirement video series. This is for the month of August 2017, and basically I buy a lot of books, I try to read as many as I can, and I watch movies. I'm just trying to keep myself occupied until June 2019 when I retire, my wife and I. Of course, I'll still be buying books, reading, and watching movies then too, but this is kind of just a monthly thing, help me count down to that time that we all look forward to retiring, or at least we all should be looking forward to. And yes, I'm retiring on the young side because I can, and not rich, but able to do it. That was more information than was needed, right? So anyway, I buy a lot of books, way too many books, and so each video is mostly like my book haul for each month. So far this month, what I purchased is Henry Ware Lawton, Union Infantryman, Frontier Soldier, Charismatic Warrior by Michael E. Shayne. And this is a biography of a soldier from the 1800s into the early 1900s. He fought against Comanches, Apaches, particularly is famous for his part in the Geronimo campaign in 1886 when Geronimo surrendered. So, and also, the reason why I picked this up particularly, even how I found out about it, I mentioned in it, I wrote a book, and it's in the bibliography. I'm also in a footnote or two in the book, so, excuse me. So, there you go. Then, I got today, by the way, that was purchased at Strand Books in New York City. And then speaking of Strand, I bought this today. This is a Scottsdale Art Auction catalog for April 2017. And I have a list of books that I own, but I don't bring it. It's like in my tablet when I go out. I have it. It's in the computer, digital copy. So when I go to Strand from work during lunch, I don't have a list with me. So I don't remember all the time what I have. So when I got back to work and I looked this up, I saw that I had in my list of books, Scottsdale Art Auction, April 2017. And I'm like, oh man, I already have this. I paid like $4 for it. Still not so bad if I had it twice, it's okay. But when I got home and I looked at the other one that I did have, it's actually is the same date and month, but it's a different catalog. They had multiple catalogs for the same day with different contents. They had like different sessions in that day. So this, I didn't have it, so I was very happy that I purchased it. And there's some fold-out pictures, and I'll show you. This is one here. It's hard to see. It's like a little wagon with a horses pulling some people. But here's a better one. This is called Victory Dance Little Bighorn 1876. Let me try to get this around here. So it's a fold out, pretty cool. The artist's name is Liang, Z.S. Liang. So for $4, there's lots of nice art in here, some cool fold outs, nice cover. I like it. I like to get those art catalogs. So if you're new to the channel, hello. I'm not the most interesting guy, but I buy a lot of books, like to show them, and I'm just keeping myself busy to retirement. It's a nice way to count down, kind of a monthly journal. So that's it so far for this month. Sometimes I have a lot more by now. I could have like easily 10 books or more. But I am going out on vacation soon, and I plan to come home with a lot of books. Actually, I hope I don't, to tell you the truth, but I might. So anyway, till next time, bye. It's Saturday night, August 5th, and this is the next installment for my August Countdown to Retirement video. So, as if you've been watching these videos, you know I work near Strand Books in New York City, and yesterday I found 6 paperbacks outside. They sell them for about 50 cents each. It's rare to find even 1 or 2, so to find 6 was pretty good. There was actually a couple more I could have gotten, but I kept it down to 6. So let me show you what those are. The Bull from the Sea, Mary Renault. This is part of a trilogy, I think, so I want to look for the other ones. Look kind of interesting, reading a little bit of it, and that's why I picked it up. It was only 50 cents, so not that big a deal. This is something that was just kind of an oddity. Seamus with Burt Reynolds on the cover. It was in great shape, just 50 cents. And I'm just curious also because it says on here, he talks tougher than Philip Marlowe and carries a bigger gun than Sam Spade. Kind of comparing it to, Chandler and Hammett. So I'm curious to read it someday, maybe. This had a really cool cover and it was in excellent shape. Reach to the Stars by Calder Willingham. And just the cover kind of interested me, so I picked it up not knowing really what it was, and I looked it up online. It got good reviews, so that was a good one. Robert Heinlein. I don't have any books by him. This looked kind of interesting, and again, when I got back to work, I looked it up and had good reviews. Citizen of the Galaxy. They had a few Heinlein books, and I only bought this one. Then, American Indian Mythology by Alice Marriott and Carol Racklin. If you want to know how the world really started, not the Judeo-Christian myth, but how the world really started. Turn to Native American mythology. And then, last, I have this book already, but for 50 cents it was in really nice shape. Ride the Wind by Lucia St. Clair Robson. A great book, and when I saw it like this in really nice shape, I had to get it. And by the way, if you're new to these videos, I put these book bags on all my books. Then today we went to a pool party in New Jersey, and there's a bookstore nearby that I went to first, that I've been to already. They sell a lot of vintage books. And there were a couple that, when I was there last time, I didn't get, and I felt really bad not getting them, and I was hoping they'd still have them. It's been like maybe a month and a half since I was at the store. So I was very surprised to go in and find the books like in the same spot I left them when I was there last time. So this book I already have, but this will be a reading copy. Chesapeake Cavalier by Don Tracy. I read a book of his called Cherokee last month. It was really awesome, and so very interested to see if his other books are pretty good too. And I have this book in excellent condition that I got for $1. This was $3, which is still a good price. But the other one was like mint just about, and this one is it's good, very good shape. It's very good plus. So it's near excellent. But this will be my reading copy. Then another Don Tracy book, The Cheat, also called Crisscross. This was if this is what I think it was also a movie with Burt Lancaster, a film noir that I watched, I think, within the last year, or year and a half. So I'm curious, and cool cover. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. Then, as a surprise, my aunt and uncle had gotten me some Native American related items, and I received them today. It was a surprise. This is a drawing, an illustration of, it says Navajos, it's 2 Indians. It's kind of cool. That'll maybe get framed someday. And then this doesn't really have anything of interest inside, I don't think, but the cover was a Native American man playing a flute, so they thought it was a cool picture. I think it is too. And then this book, it's kind of for young adults. It came in a case, which is kind of cool. Let me open it up here. The cover has the same picture as the outside of the box, and basically it looks like it's for young adults, and it has a lot of illustrations inside with some brief text about different aspects of the Old West, outlaws, Indians, different stuff here. So it's in like, fine condition, which is a nice surprise. And so that's it for today's book haul. And it was a great day. Looking forward to vacation, seeing what I find then. Take care. It's Wednesday, August 8th. This is my third or fourth time starting this video because I keep saying it's Wednesday, June 8th. I don't know why I think it's June. I'm glad it's August, getting closer to retirement every month. So I didn't buy anything today at Strand, but I did find yesterday 3 books. The first one's for my wife. This was $3 outside. It's like brand new. Lincoln's Assassins, Their Trial and Execution by James Swanson and Daniel R. Weinberg. And I put the nice broad art sleeve on it. So that was, I've gotten a few for her over the years, some nice Lincoln books, and she gets them for herself when she sees them. Then, this is a book I have, but I don't have this cover. Matter of fact, I've never seen it, and I searched online for it. I couldn't even find a picture of it anywhere, so I think it's pretty rare. Little Big Man, Thomas Berger, with this cover. It was $1. It's in excellent shape. I mean, other than like just a little tiny bit of wear at the corner, it's nothing. It's like practically brand new. Cool cover, especially because I've never seen it before, and it does seem to be rare. So for $1, that was pretty good. Then I bought by Helen McGinnis, The Salzburg Connection. Now, this was about 50 cents. When I picked it up, I actually thought I had it, and this would be like a reading copy, but I don't have it, so even better. I think she wrote like 22 books, and I have 11 of them so far. Now, I haven't read any yet, but they look interesting. I skimmed through the pages. They look interesting to me. They get good reviews. So, and I only pay, pennies for each one. 50 cents, $1. So, if I read a couple and I don't really care for them, it is what it is. But in the meantime, if I see them, it would be crazy not to get them for that price. So that was it. Maybe I'll find something tomorrow, I don't know, but Friday we leave on our trip, and I'm certainly going to find some books on our trip. I just hope not too many. Last year we came home. I have videos of that. I don't know if it was I doing? Yeah, I must have been doing these videos then too. I know one time when I came home, I had like, must have been over 100 or 200 books. That was kind of crazy. That was a crazy trip. So I hope that doesn't happen again. But we go to some library sales, some nice bookstores, and who knows. So with any luck, I'll actually not find anything tomorrow, and then I could just pick this up again when we get back from our trip. So maybe I'll be here again tomorrow, maybe not. Bye. Hello again, coming to you live from my bedroom. Of course, it's not live by the time you see this. So first of all, I have to make a correction to what I said yesterday. I had the day wrong. I don't know what I was thinking. I was so confused. First I thought it was June. Anyway, I said that it was Wednesday, August 8th. That was false. It was Tuesday, August 8th. Today is Wednesday. All day yesterday I thought it was Wednesday. I don't know why. But today is Wednesday, August 9th. Yesterday again was Tuesday, August 8th. And today is coincidentally the anniversary of the Battle of the Big Hole in Montana. That battle took place in 1877 between Nez Perce Indians under Chief Joseph and soldiers under Gibbon, Colonel John Gibbon. Okay. Next thing on the agenda. Yesterday I didn't mention, but today I will because it looks like it's going to be an issue. My mother-in-law is in the hospital. She's about 90 and not doing too well. And so, it's a hard time, and we're supposed to go on vacation on Friday. It's about a 10-hour, 11-hour drive north of here. So, looks like we're not going to go. We haven't canceled anything yet. My wife's going to go to the hospital tomorrow. Maybe things will stabilize. It won't look so bad. but at this point, it looks like it's, isn't going to happen. I'd say 10, 15, 20% tops chance that we will be going on vacation. So we're all very disappointed, but you have to be there for your spouse when something like this happens, and so if we can't go, we can't go. I understand. Okay, so today I went to Strand, and when I got there in the afternoon, there was a gentleman came out with a new cart with books to put out, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and he put out 5 World War II books. I wound up getting 4 of them, which I'm going to show you now. One of them I didn't get. It looked like it could be good, but there was some bent pages in it, and I just felt like I was already getting 4 books, which totaled $10, and so I just let that one go. If I ever see it again, for a couple of bucks, I probably would get it if it was in good shape. So, what did I buy? These are mostly illustrated World War II books, like heavily illustrated, but there's also, some of them have a lot of writing also. They look pretty interesting. This one is World War II, The Illustrated History of World War II, by Owen Booth and John Walton. And it has maps and pictures and paintings, and just skimming through it, and it actually looks pretty good. I like books that are picture heavy with World War II. It's not something I want to read really. I mentioned this in past videos. I don't need to really read in-depth World War II history. I like the pictures and blurbs, and there's some text, and even if it's a little bit deep, okay. But like a really thick, serious book about World War II, at this point, really isn't my thing. That's the American West is more my love for that kind of book. Okay, next I got Faces of Liberty. Europe, Liberating a Continent, from the editors of VFW magazine, forward by General William Westmoreland. Getting glare from the light, sorry. And this has lots of nice pictures, and there's a good amount of text in this book too. So, is this the book that had, let me see something here. Yeah. It's got some nice paintings in it. And so, pretty cool. Each book, some with 2, some with 3. Well, 2 of them with 2, 2 of them with 3. So average price $2.50 for 4 nice books. Not bad. The Fall of the Reich, from D-Day to the Fall of Berlin, 1944 to 1945. And this book, this looks pretty good. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. Trying to find yeah. So there's lots of nice pictures throughout, and there's a good deal of text also. And last, this one, I tried to look up reviews for all of them. This one got mixed reviews, called World at War, the story of World War II. And this is by Nigel Cawthorne. It's a British gentleman. If there are, it really looks pretty good, if you ask me. There might be some errors of fact, or maybe something wrong with the caption. I'm not really sure. There's lots of nice pictures, and it's broken down pretty nicely in different chapters. Lots of maps. There was an issue with one picture about Polish cavalry that apparently the caption isn't quite right, but I looked it up online and actually printed out from the internet information about correcting that picture. So if that was the worst of it, not a big deal. It was just a blurb to a picture. If you got something wrong there, or the editor maybe even did it, I don't know. But so still a nice book. So those are the 4 books that I got today. Now I have to have the fun of trying to find where to put them, which, by the way, my World War II books are right next to me. I really have to do a book tour video. I keep moving things around and changing things as I buy stuff, trying to find creative ways to keep everything. I don't know where I'm going to put these. Oh, I had to sneeze. Okay, sneeze is over. So let me just see here. Maybe I can... Let's see here. So the World War II books, like kind of in this box over here. Where am I going? Okay. And there are a lot of them in that box, next to the box, and on the shelf next over there behind Centennial. There's a whole bunch. I've managed to get quite a few. Here's a bookcase in the bedroom, boxes up there. I've got boxes with books. It's just I live in boxes. Okay, so that's it for this video, and we'll see what happens with the trip. Hopefully everything works out well, but I feel bad for my wife going through this right now, and that's about it. So till next time, bye. It's Thursday night, June 10th, and it's just a little quick update. So yesterday I had mentioned, I believe I mentioned, that our vacation is kind of up in the air and we may not be going. But we are going to be going. My mother-in-law is in the hospital. It's not a great situation, but it's not as critical as we thought, and she does have a lot of help. My wife has a brother and a sister. She also has aides that are with her. So, and it's not expected that anything is going to happen in the next few days. It's, like, you know what I'm saying. So we're going to go on our vacation. Everybody thinks we should go, and hopefully we have a great time and everything is well here. So today at Strand, I picked up 2 books. Lakota Belief and Ritual by James R. Walker. It was $1. It's in great shape. And I have this in hardcover. I did not have the soft cover, so good purchase. And then I picked up, I had only seen the spine, so I didn't know what it really was, but it said Southwestern Historical Quarterly, and I was wondering what that is. So it was $1, and it's actually a current issue, or fairly current. It's from April 2017, and it has 3 articles and some book reviews. And 2 of the articles in particular, and the third might be good, I'm not sure right now, but the first 2 are definitely interesting to me. One is about the Texas Revolution and the Alamo, and it's called The Origin and Effect of Mexico's No Quarter Policy in the Texas Revolution by Richard Bruce Winders. And the next article is really of interest to me. It's called 2 Episodes in Texas Indian History Reconsidered: Getting the Facts Right About the La Fuente Attack and the Fort Parker Raid by Daniel J. Gelo, Gelo. So the second one there about the Fort Parker raid has to do with Cynthia Ann Parker and Comanches and Kiowas in the 1830s. So that looks very interesting, and again, only $1 and it's in excellent shape. So we're off on our trip early tomorrow morning, and I'll be making updates, I guess, on the road. Last time I think I did everything when I came home, but this time I think I'll just do as just occurred to me. I could bring in the tablet with me. I could do updates on the road. So, next time I see you, it will be from Maine. Bye. Okay, this is my first book video, or countdown to retirement video, away from home. So, we are in Bar Harbor, Maine, at the Villager Motel. My wife and son are sitting outside the room. It's drizzling, but they're just enjoying the evening, and I'm going to go over what books I've gotten in the last week. About 100 altogether. I haven't got an exact count, but it's about 100. So before I even go into that, when we left, my mother-in-law wasn't doing so well, but it didn't seem critical, and we went on vacation. And today, we're going home on Sunday, but today we got a call that things aren't so well again, and hopefully not expected to live that long, but hopefully by the time we get home, it won't be too late. So having said all that, we hope that part goes well. So what did I get on this trip? So I'm going to have to do this in a few little segments. So let me start here. Get the first stack. Okay. By the way, all of these paperbacks, I paid most of them $1. Some of them were maybe $2.50. That's about it. And a few I got for nothing, which I'll get to in a little while. Okay, so Seven for Vengeance by James Keane. I have that book already, but this was such a nice condition that I got it. Some of them were actually less than $1. Might have been a quarter or 50 cents. I can't keep track. We went to so many places, and the prices were very agreeable, just about everywhere. The Kelly Man by Will C. Brown, and this is not something kind of Western I normally get. Usually I like more like Mountain Men and Native American related Western novels, but it was like so perfect and inexpensive, and I just couldn't let it sit there. Look, could be interesting. Look good. A Man Named Yuma by T.V. Olson. Bronco Apache by Paul Wellman. This book I have. I'm not sure if I have this cover, but it's a rarity to find, and I think I got it for $1. This was kind of interesting. It's by Brian Garfield, but before he became known as Brian Garfield, he was writing under another name, Frank O'Brien. These are the same books, different covers. Bugle and Spur is the name of it, so I picked them both up. They were $1. I just thought it was kind of cool to have it in two different versions, one with the pen name. Okay, the next batch, The Big 50 by Frank O'Rourke. And this goes for sometimes quite a few dollars on the internet, and I paid $1 for it. It's in great shape. Louis L'Amour Hondo. I'm guessing that the cover may be faded a little bit. I'm not sure, but I bought this because it's a rarity. I've never seen this cover. It might have been like $2 or $2.50 for this book, but because the cover was such a rarity, I picked it up. Trail Boss Peter Dawson. The Winter War, William Wister Haynes. Cavalry Raid, S.E. Whitman. Okay, the next stack. We found in one place boxes of just old vintage books, TV shows, things like that. And so my wife and I bought quite a few. My wife has books here mixed up somewhere, but these are the ones that I purchased. Starsky and Hutch, number 8. Get Smart by William Johnston. And the Starsky and Hutch book was by, well, it says created by William Blinn, based on the script by Ron Friedman, and adapted by Max Franklin. So, quite a lot going on there. Get Smart again, William Johnston. Max Smart, the Spy Who Went Out to the Cold, also by William Johnston, this should be, yep. And then, I have this already, but when you find this book for a cheap price, you gotta get it. The original Mr. Ed, this is in like really excellent condition by Walter Brooks. And I have this already, which I paid like $3 for it, I think, a few years ago. This I got for $4. It was listed as $7, but because I was buying a lot of books from this lady, I said, "Can I have it for $4?" And she's like, "Okay." I guess she felt funny saying no. I was spending, buying like 30, 40 books from her. Gomer Pyle USMC. I don't know if I'd ever read this, but I thought the show was kind of funny. It's kind of an oddity, and it was in great shape. Dog Day Afternoon by Patrick Mann. I think this was $1, and I think I have it. I'm pretty sure I do have it, but for $1, it was in great shape. Got it again. The Train Robbers. I've never seen this movie. It's got John Wayne on the cover. It was $1. I figure, what the hell. Tribesmen of Gore. John Norman. There were a few Gore novels I could have gotten, and I just picked this one. I already have a few at home. This looked interesting. Oh, and yeah, I said by John Norman. Here, new stories from The Twilight Zone by Rod Serling. So I guess these were episodes that we never made into stories we never made into episodes. Anyway, $1 seemed kind of cool. If it wasn't, maybe it was $2.50 for that one. I don't remember now. That Girl. It's from the old TV show. With this is a novel by Paul Fairman with Marlo Thomas on the cover. I'm tongue-tied. My wife got another copy. They had 2 copies. I think they were $2.50 or $3 each. So we each took a copy. They're both in great shape. The Black Arrow, Robert Louis Stevenson. I have another copy of this with a different cover, and just kind of cool. Now, this is one of my new favorite authors from a book called Cherokee that I read. Don Tracy, Carolina Corsair. Cool cover, even whether I ever read it or not. I hope to, because I think he's a good author from that one book I read. But this is a really cool cover. The Naked Sword, Donald Barr Chidsey. This, I think, has to do with Robin Hood. Or at least Sherwood Forest, probably Robin Hood. And it's got a cool cover. I figure what the hell I'd get it. I think it was very cheap, probably $1, maybe less. Alfred Hitchcock's Once Upon a Dreadful Time. Cool cover. And this I have with Audrey Hepburn on the cover. It's an old, like, beat-up copy, but it was kind of cool. Breakfast at Tiffany's. So this one doesn't have Audrey Hepburn on the cover, but I think it was $1. By Truman Capote. There's some other short stories in here. Raymond Chandler, The Long Goodbye. And this looks like it's got Elliot Gould on the cover. That one is also, the last page is a little bit loose, but I think it was $1. It was $1. So I figured just for the cover, I'd get it. Trigger Mortis by Frank Kane. I have a few Frank Kane, maybe 3 or 4 by him now. Johnny Liddell Mysteries. The cover was cool. I think this was $1. Where are you going to get this for $1 in New York City? It'd be $15 at Strand for this book. Now, the Mike Shayne books, I usually don't get the newer kind of 70s covers. I guess these are 1970s, but these were, I think, $1 each, so I picked them up. Mike Shayne. Excuse me. Look, you can't even see me anymore. Not that you want to. Mike Shayne by Brett Holiday, pen name. This is Lady Be Bad. Again, Brett Holiday, Mike Shayne. Dolls Are Deadly. If these were beat up, I wouldn't have gotten them, but they were all in great shape. Mike Shayne again, Murder in Haste. I prefer the old covers, but you don't always find them, and if I like the books when I get to reading them, I'll be happy to have them. Murder Takes No Holiday. And last, Armed Dangerous. So let me pause here for a second and rearrange myself. Okay, here we go. This one here was $1. Sabretooth by Peter O'Donnell. It's like a female spy, and the cover is just so cool. Just had to get it. Very sexy picture. Then I got some Helen McGinnis, Above Suspicion. I have already, but it's in great shape. Assignment in Brittany. This I have, but not this old cover. And it's an old vintage book. It was in great shape. I think I paid $1 for it, or close to it. Helen McGinnis. Helen McGinnis, Friends and Lovers. Again, Helen McGinnis, Rest and Be Thankful. I and My True Love. These are like mystery suspense novels. Pray for a Brave Heart. It's got a really cool gothic type cover. Decision at Delphi. The Double Image. the Salzburg connection with the cover that I don't have. I guess they made it into a movie. Message from Malaga, I'm not sure how you say it. Malaga. Then I have this in hardcover, but now I have it in paperback with also with the other one. The hardcover is, I don't think has Frank Sinatra on the cover, but this one does. Von Ryan's Express with Frank Sinatra on the cover. The hardcover one, pretty sure it does not have Frank Sinatra on the cover. It wouldn't have, because that movie, the book came out, then the movie, then they did it in paperback, I guess, with Frank Sinatra on the cover. Into the Valley. It's a World War II book, and there's pictures in here. This is by John Hersey, and it's illustrations by Major Donald L. Dixon, USMC, United States Marine Corps. And there's some really nice art in here like this, but black and white mixed throughout the book. I think this was like $1. Very, very worth it, it looks like. Battle of Cassino by Fred Magdalene. The American West. Selected readings from Mankind magazine, edited by Raymond Friday Locke, who's famous for a book on the Navajos that he did. And that was $1. And My Life as an Indian, which I bought just because I just love the book. And the author's pretty cool, J.W. Schultz. I'm not sure if this is an edited version of the original, but regardless, it's just cool to have. Okay, let's continue. The Bordermen, Cameron Judd. I might have paid 50 cents for this. Wild Drums Beat by F. Van Wyck Mason, a gripping novel of frontier warfare in 1812. Look to the Mountain. I have this book, not sure if I have this cover. This would be, I think, my third copy of it by LeGrand Cannon Jr. I hope it's a good book, because I got 3 of them now. From Sea to Shining Sea by James Alexander Thom. I have it, but the copy I have is a little bit beat up. It's like just a reading copy. This is in better condition. If I could find an even better one, I'd probably get it. If it was like $1. James Alexander Thom, Sign Talker. I have this book. This is a little bit worn. It's been read. The spine is creased, but for a reading copy on the train, it's fine. Oliver Wiswell. I have actually 2 of them by Kenneth Roberts. This one someone scribbled some ink, but it was very cheap, 50 cents or $1. So this could be my reading copy, and this could be my copy to save. Kenneth Roberts is known for writing some good historical fiction. Oh, can't see me. And then Drums Along the Mohawk by Walter D. Edmonds. I have this book, but not this cover. It was a very cool cover. I couldn't say no to it. I actually saw this again today at a store we went to. I didn't buy anything at this particular bookstore, but they had this book. Maybe I should have gotten it. Now I feel bad. On the Bloody Trail of Geronimo by Lieutenant John Bigelow Jr. I have this in paperback already. I never knew it existed like this. It's a cool find. I think it was $1, so got it again. Stillness at Appomattox. A Stillness at Appomattox by Bruce Catton. This was $1. It's old. It looks like it may have been gently read. It's not going to last forever, but it's kind of cool to cover. And if I don't read this, maybe I'll get another copy to read and just save this one. And then this was very cool. I got this for $1 also. It actually had no price, but I got it at the same place that I bought this, and this was $1. So the guy said, oh, okay, $1. I was like, okay, fine with me. Sickles the Incredible by W.A. Swanberg. I read a book about Sickles, Daniel Edgar Sickles, a more recent biography, especially relating to his part at Gettysburg. It was a pretty good book. And it seemed like just, a nice old cool vintage book to own for so cheap. Okay, I'm going to get another box now. Okay, to continue. Wayne Overholser, Proud Journey. This is a book about the Ute Indian War of 1879. I may have this, I'm not sure, but I wanted it again. Cry Geronimo by Forrest Carter, not his real name. He was a white supremacist, which is kind of timely to talk about because of what happened recently in, I'm away on vacation, so I can't remember, what was it, Virginia, Carolina, somewhere down south, and recently some people got killed. So at least one person got killed. So he was a very good writer, though. It's a shame that he was a white supremacist. This book was in like mint condition. I've spoken about this book in past videos when I've purchased it. This was like, I don't even think it's been read, and it was just pristine, just about. I read it when I was a kid, like twice. It was really good. It really captured my imagination. I was very surprised to find out that the guy that wrote this was a white supremacist. It was very surprising. And that he would even maybe have hated me because my heritage is Jewish, but I don't consider religion in identifying myself. I'm atheist. I don't believe in any religion, any gods, and that I've ever heard of. And but so you wonder why I buy this. It was kind of my part of my childhood. When I found out who he was, I got rid of the copy that I had, and it was kind of just like remembered the book fondly, but the guy was an idiot. Very bad views. But I don't know. I wanted the book. I don't know why. I'd like to read it again someday. Maybe I'll see something in it I didn't see the first time. Reading it as an adult, it would maybe tip off something about him and views that he had in the book. I don't know, but I had fond memories of the book. But again, I read it when I was young. I was in my early teens, and it's been a long time. I'd like to read it again someday. Charlie Eagletooth's War by John Templeton. This just seems like a goofy book. It's supposed to be a kind of a funny book, more modern day, probably 1960s, I'm guessing. So very funny, but with some things to think about too. Dan Cushman, author of Stay Away Joe. Buffalo Nickel. This is one of my favorite books I've ever read by C.W. Smith. And I found this paperback. It was in mint condition, it's not been read, I don't think. And I already have a few, but I had to get it. Okay, now I got some Tarzans. This is the first one. These I bought for $1 each. Tarzan, the first one. Tarzan number 4. And by the way, this closed out my black cover Tarzan collection. I was looking, well, get to that in a second. I was looking for some volumes that I didn't have, or numbers that I didn't have. I mean, here's number 5. Number 7, The Untamed. Number 8, The Terrible. I was only missing 3 or 4 or 5, but I wound up buying a bunch more just because they were in great shape and only $1. Number 12, The Lost Empire. Number 18, The Leopard Men. I think this might have been one of them that I needed to get. Number 19, Quest. Maybe that was one I needed to get also. I know some of the higher numbers I needed to get. The Forbidden City. So then I was able to find everything in this one store for $1 except one book, number 21. And the one that I found, the Get Smart and the Mr. Ed book, they had number 21, so it was the last one that I needed, and I finally found it, The Magnificent. So that closed out my Tarzan black cover collection, but I still have a few more here that I picked up for $1. Tarzan and the Foreign Legion, number 22. Tarzan and the Madman, number 23. And I think those last 23, 24 I didn't have already. Even, did I say 22? Yeah, I don't think I had any of those. These were all new ones that I needed. Tarzan and the Castaways, number 24. So that closes out my black cover Tarzan. Will I ever buy another Tarzan? Well, if the price is right and it's in really like mint shape, it's like $1, I probably would get it. Okay, time to get the next stack ready. Okay, before I get to more books that I purchased, the store that I mentioned before, I found That Girl and Mr. Ed. So my wife picked up a few books there. I'll show those. Little House on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder. It's got the original, the TV show cast on the cover. And here's her cover of That Girl. She got Mork and Mindy, a novel by Ralph Church. That Girl was written again by Paul Fairman. Family Ties. Alex Gets the Business by Joe Claro. These are just cool to have. They're your childhood, the shows you used to watch. He has Zingers from Hollywood Squares. And Burt Reynolds on the cover, and Paul Lynn, a few other people. Can't think of names right now. I know them all, I just can't think of names. Brady Bunch number 3, Count Up to Blast Down. Kind of funny finding Brady Bunch books. Partridge Family, Terror by Night by Vic Kroom. And then another Partridge Family, The Fat and Skinny Murder Mystery with Keith Partridge on the cover. David Cassidy, of course. Number 9. Then, let's see. So what happened here? So, excuse me. So we took a boat ride. Before I show you this next stack, because there's a story that goes with this. We took a boat ride, which we take every year that we come here, to from one of the harbors, and they make a stop, a 45-minute stop on a little island. It's like a few families, a handful of families, and they're lobster people. This is what they do. Their lobster business is what they survive on, and so it's just a little island called Little Cranberry Island. So every year they come here, we go there and get off the boat 45 minutes. We walk inland a little bit just to see some of the homes, and so I see this lady drive up to the post office where we had gone, and she has a little like kind of golf cart type vehicle, and it says bookmobile on it. So I said to her, well, that's kind of curious and interesting. Well, why does it say bookmobile? And it turns out that was to identify her cart because she is the librarian on the island, and they have a little library there. And they had recently had a book sale and had a handful of books left over, maybe like 100 or so. Who would think they even had a library on this island, let alone like a book sale? I just couldn't believe it. So she said, oh, well, I've got, some books left over. You're welcome to come and look. Take whatever you want for free. Whatever you want. And she wasn't even open, but she was very nice. She just let my wife, myself, and my son come in. And I went through the books and I picked out a bunch, which I'm going to show you now. So these are all free. I'm the only one who went on the tour, got off on the boat, came back with 13. I think it's 13 books that I got. Yeah, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right, 13 books. It can only happen to me, I'd like to think. So, The Island of the Mighty. This is part of a series, I believe. It's Evangeline Walton. The 4th branch of the Mabinogion. I'm not really sure what it says here. This book was formerly called The Virgin and the Swine. And I think it was part of maybe a trilogy. Looked kind of interesting. I figured it had a really cool cover. I'm just going to get it. It didn't cost anything. So I'd be crazy just to walk away. If I start to read it and really like it, I could get the other ones. And this is an old science fiction type book or fantasy book from maybe the 1930s. I should have looked it up before I did the video. I forgot, but you can look it up. The Island of the Mighty, Evangeline Watson. You could look it up if you're interested. Okay, so that was the first one. Then Helen McGinnis, The Venetian Affair. This is a little bit beat up. You can see like it's missing a little part down here, but it was free. Good for the train. I go on a commute, so that's fine. No complaints. The Eagle Has Landed, Jack Higgins. The Killing Ground by Elston Trevor. This is a World War II book. I have this, but this could be a reading copy, assuming my other one is in better condition, which I think it is. It's not bad at all, but, good reading copy. Ian Fleming, Thrilling Cities. Just looked interesting. What the hell? He goes around the different cities. New York, I think it was Tokyo, a bunch of places, London. Talks about the cities. Raymond Chandler, Pickup on Union Street. Can you believe no one took this at the library sale? Wonder what they did take. John D. Macdonald, You Live Once. It was free. Figured if it's good, it's good. If not. Again, John D. Macdonald, Bright Orange for the Shroud. This is a Travis McGee novel. I always see the Travis McGee novels. I never get them because I've been buying the other series with Lou Archer. And so it was nothing. Maybe it's good. The Way Some People Die. I have this, maybe 2 or 3, but it was free. Did I mention that? It was free. So The Witcherly Woman, Ross MacDonald. Again, I have it. Free. The Goodbye Look, Ross MacDonald. The Chill, Ross MacDonald. And then I got this, The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I read this a long time ago. I don't remember much about it except there was someone, William Caulfield, don't quote me. My son might need to read the book soon, so I have it. It was nothing. Might even have this at home. Might have found it somewhere else sometime now that I think about it. I'm not sure. But maybe I'll read it again someday myself. So time to get the next batch. Okay, let's continue. So this is actually something that my wife found. Abraham Lincoln, An Illustrated Life and Legacy by Thomas F. Schwartz and Thomas Cousins. Includes removable facsimiles of 8 historic documents. So it's kind of cool because it's got these like pockets that you can pull out documents from. My wife is like into getting books on Abraham Lincoln. So that was a good find. And I forget where we got that, but it wasn't much. I don't remember where we got it. Then I picked up this book, Cavalry. Cavalry, edited by James Lawford. It's called Techniques and Triumphs of the Military Horsemen, the stories of the great cavalry regiments, their commanders, and celebrated actions. And the main title is The Cavalry. Again, by James Lawford. It was the editor. So there's different articles in here, or different essays in here, and he's the editor. And cool. I think I paid maybe like $6 for that one. This was 50 cents. Hollywood Genres by Thomas Schatz. I have this book. It was a little bit beat up. This is in better condition. I've never seen an excellent copy of this, but this is in pretty good shape, better than the other one that I have, I believe. And so for 50 cents, I was going to get it. And then here, MHQ, this was $1, Military History Quarterly. This is from autumn 1988. There's a article about Custer in here, A Little Bighorn by Utley, and some other military-related articles. These are always generally pretty good magazines. I read one recently and enjoyed it a lot. Before I came to Bar Harbor, I read a copy, and it was very good. This was maybe $4 or $5, called Spirit Wars by Ronald Neisen. Native North American Religions in the Age of Nation Building. And it has a lot to do also with how Christianity, I'll just use the word infected or helped to destroy native peoples. That's my understanding of what the book is about. How Christianity kind of pushed itself onto native, into the native religions, into the Native American tribes and societies, and tried to stop them from using their religion in favor of Christianity, which is kind of a very evil thing if you ask me. They called him Wild Bill. This was cheap, 50 cents, $1. I don't remember now, but I mean, maybe $1. I didn't pay much for it, and the only reason the only thing about it is the side was faded. Like it's supposed to say here, they called him, you could see, it says Wild Bill, but it got sun faded. That's no big deal. The book itself is in like excellent condition. Really nothing wrong with it. So I already have it, but for the price that I got it for, I just had to get it again. This I bought in town here. Cornelius Ryan, The Longest Day. This is the most expensive book I bought this trip. Was it like $25? And it comes in a slipcase. And the same with that Lincoln book. There's like old documents. This book has a lot of pictures, and it has fold-outs, like sleeves with old documents in it. So it's very cool. And again, it's like $25, which is much cheaper than, we looked it up online. That was actually an excellent price. It's like brand new. So that was a good one. This, oh, you know what? That Hickok book, I didn't even pay 50 cents or $1 for it. I remember now. I went to another library here on the island. I think it's Mount Desert Island is the whole area, what it's called. And there was a library that we went to that had just basically leave a donation. And one of them has it's like 50 cents a book. This other one was just leave a donation. Take whatever you want, leave a donation. And that Hickok book, this George Catlin book, maybe a couple others. I can't remember everything. I just left like maybe like 75 cents. I had change, and that's what I left. So George Catlin, this is like for young people. Mark Sufrin, but it's got pictures inside, and I just think it's worth getting it. I'm not going to leave it behind. It's right up my alley. This I paid maybe $3-4, maybe like $4 for. It's called Comanche Belle. If it ever had a dust jacket, I don't know what happened to it. It's by Charles Thomas. Had some good reviews online. Found this at the Chicken Barn. And this was another one that I got from the library where I just left some change. Creek Mary's Blood. I have this book, but the dust jacket's a little bit messed up, and this one isn't. So this is by D. Brown. I mentioned that one of the libraries we went to, they had books, 50 cents. I got, these I have, but 50 cents. Best of the West, Volume 1 and 2. A Treasury of Western Adventure. These are Reader's Digest. There's Volume 1 has The Long Rifle, The Way West, Ordeal by Hunger, and Giants in the Earth. And Volume 2 has The Oxbow Incident, Shane, Bugles in the Afternoon, and Cheyenne Autumn. Again, 50 cents each. And then my wife she was looking at the books too, and she found this for me. Great TV and Film Detectives. This is a Reader's Digest book also. A collection of crime masterpieces featuring your favorite screen sleuths, edited by Maxim Jakubowski. Reader's Digest. I don't believe these are edited though. There's some stuff I have in here, but most I don't. So there's like Sherlock Holmes, Philip Marlowe by Raymond Chandler. It's called Trouble Is My Business. There's a Perry Mason in here, and Elliot Ness, Hercule Poirot, Ellery Queen, Mike Hammer, Inspector Maigret, it looks like, Miss Marple, Inspector Morse, a whole bunch of stuff. There's more. V.I. Warshawski, Inspector Wexford. These are all like the detectives that are in the book. A.J. Raffles, Inspector Rebus, Charlie Resnick, Lincoln Rhyme, Matt Scudder, Nick Sharman, more. I didn't even name all of them. So 50 cents. I mean, this is like brand new. It's not. There's no library stamps or anything. It's just, I think it's been read brand new. Then I picked up this also. I think this was 50 cents. The Strange Brigade, John Jennings. Now this book I have in paperback, and so now I've got the hardcover, and it's like in excellent condition. And then I'll just show you one thing here. My son found somewhere Doctor Who, The Watches of Mars. And is there anything else? There's some. I'll show you what my what the hell. I'll show you the books my wife and son got. Hold on. Okay, so my son got Outcast by Michelle Paver, Chronicles of Ancient Darkness. He has a lot of books he hasn't read yet, like me. He doesn't really have much experience with this kind of book, I don't think, but if it's cheap and he looks interesting to him, he gets it. Let's see here. I found this for my wife. I think this was like $1. Suspension, a novel. It's the Brooklyn Bridge, and it's some kind of mystery novel related to the Brooklyn Bridge by Richard E. Crabb. So again, I found that for my wife. I think I also found this for her too. Bobby Darin, A Life. Michael Seth Starr. We'd seen a movie with Bobby Darin a few months ago. We watched, and she liked it. And she, of course, knows who Bobby Darin is already. But that movie, I guess, kind of made her want to get the book. This is my son's Peter Abraham's Into the Dark. And my wife got this, The Girl on the Train, Paula Hawkins. This must be my son's, Artemis Fowl, The Arctic Incident. Doctor Who, this he found today. Excuse me. Doctor Who in the Blood by Jenny T. Colgan. This is a very recent book too. Another Doctor Who, The Silent Stars Go By. The Doctor Who books are about $4 each. By Dan Abnett. Doctor Who. Life as We Knew It, Susan Beth Pfeffer. I'm guessing this is my son's. And this must also be my son's. It's The Bloodwater Mysteries. It's called Snatched by Pete Houtman and Mary Logu. Tomorrow there's a book sale at the library here in town. It's supposed to rain, and we're not really sure how bad, but the sale's going on regardless. So I could find a few books or a whole ton of books. I don't know. It's usually very busy. I'm happy if I could just find some Westerns, and maybe a Helen McGinnis book or two that I don't have would be great, and some Westerns. And if I could get some history books, that would be really cool. And some art books, that would be really cool. So, but it's a madhouse, and if it's raining, it's going to be messy. But we'll see what happens. And we go home on Sunday, making 2 or 3 stops on the way at bookstores because my wife wants to get home to see her mom, obviously. And so that's it for so far. We've had a great time. Just a little, damper with my mother-in-law, but Bar Harbor's a wonderful place, and you just got to watch here because you can eat yourself to death. Desserts especially. Ice cream in every corner, and then some. Take care. I just found a few behind boxes that I forgot about. So today we went to Bangor, Maine, and I went to an antique store that has a bunch of books, and I got this American Character, The Curious Life of Charles Fletcher Loomis, and The Rediscovery of the Southwest by Mark Thompson. This was $6. It's like brand new. This book I have, but it was $15, and I just really wanted it. It was like excellent condition. A Limitless Sky, the works of Charles M. Russell by Ginger Renner. And it was just like really in beautiful condition, and I had to have it. Then interesting, the last 2 books, I promise, went into the lobby at the motel here, and they have some maybe 3 or 4 shelves of books. Says donate one, take one, leave one, whatever you want to do. So they had these 2 books. They're not written in. They were in perfect condition, like new. Volumes 1 and 2, which was all the volumes that exist for it. World Mythology and Legend. It's the 2nd edition by Anthony Mercatante and James Dow. And it's volumes 1 and 2. World Mythology and Legend. And they're like brand new, not written in, nothing. And just sitting there on the shelf for free. So that's the end of the book video. Bye. So it is Sunday, August 20th, and I am back home on the couch in my living room. I was in Bar Harbor, Maine yesterday, and not anymore. So we're supposed to be coming home today, and supposed to be going to a library sale for the few hours yesterday. So what happened? So at the sale's supposed to start at 9 a.m. and I got there about 8:30, and I noticed some people looking at books, even though the sale didn't start yet. And in past years, they would even have you like stand back and wait for 9 o'clock. But I noticed some people looking, and it was a little bit like, not really drizzly, but like drop here and there, and there was this threat of rain, and they had tents set up and books inside the library. But I noticed like maybe one or two people looking, so I started to look. And so I just hold on to books because I wasn't going to just put them back and have to like find them after, and someone else might take them. So, and then they had paperback. They had like hardcovers out front, and then they had all different topics. Then they had in the backyard, behind the building, lots of paperbacks. I went back there and I got a box, and I just started like taking books and loading up. And then about 9, and it wasn't even 9 o'clock yet, and that's when the sale starts. Nobody said anything to me. I was just looking around and taking books and putting them in a box, and nobody said anything. I figured maybe they thought, well, because of the rain and the weather, we'll just let people get started because who knows what's going to happen. I don't know. So then, like at 9 o'clock when the sale's supposed to start, and I already got like 22, 23 books, something like that. My wife comes over and says, "Oh, I just got a call from my sister. My mom is back in the hospital, and it's like this time it's like the real deal, and it could be a matter of hours, and we've got to go home right away. And it's like a 11, 12-hour trip, with some stops along the way for the bathroom and whatnot." So I went and paid real quick, went back to the room. I didn't get to look anymore, and packed up the car real quick. It came home, and luckily my wife did get to say goodbye. We all got to say goodbye to myself, my wife, and my son. Got to say goodbye to her in the hospital, but she was unconscious, and she died overnight, I guess very early hours of Sunday today. So my wife's taking care of that stuff right now with her brother and sister, the funeral arrangements and so forth. And so I'm doing this, trying to get myself organized here, list all the books, because there's like, I think over 100, and getting myself organized here. So what did I get at the book sale in the little time that I had? They didn't even have everything put out yet. They were still putting stuff out. I mean, I understand that, what happened takes precedence over everything, but I was upset that I didn't get to look. I don't mean that in like come out in a bad way. I paid right away. I left. That was like the big part of the vacation was that book sale. That was like why we picked that week, because so it was very upsetting, just the whole thing. The death in the family, having to leave so suddenly, right in the middle of a book sale, and so but I did get some stuff which I'm going to show now, and so I just hope for the best that my wife is okay and takes it well, and we're here for her. So what did I get? Well, first let me actually show this. I found this for my wife, Mr. Hobbs' Vacation. It's got Jimmy Stewart on the cover, and I guess that's Maureen O'Hara. Mr. Hobbs' Vacation, old vintage paperback, was in nice condition, so I picked that up for her. And then this was the first book that I saw when I was out front looking. It was a history book called The First World War, Complete History, by Martin Gilbert. It was $1, and it's like an excellent, maybe unread condition. So and it has good reviews, so that was a good find. These next two hardcovers are also $1. Rabble in Arms by Kenneth Roberts. This is a Revolutionary War era novel, and he always gets high marks for his novels. There were some others that I didn't take. Lydia something or other. I wasn't sure. I didn't have time, and I would have gone back and looked, and then I just had to run. So Kenneth Roberts, Oliver Wiswell hardcover. It's like excellent condition. And these books are cool. They got maps inside here. The other one also has a map. So pretty cool. So I got those 3. Then I grabbed a bunch of paperbacks, and I didn't have time to go through them and see if I really wanted all of them or if I had duplicates or whatnot. So I had them spined down in the box so that I couldn't even see what was written on the spine to pull some out when I was paying. So they were 50 cents each, and I had 19 of them. So it came to altogether, it was $12.50 for 19, 20, 22 books. That's pretty good. So this is what I got. Let's go over these here. So I found, really 5 of them. Okay, 5 James Bond books. Again, 50 cents each. Live and Let Die by Ian Fleming. They're all by Ian Fleming, of course. Moonraker. Thunderball. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And You Only Live Once. They're all in very nice condition. It would have been nice to find Casino Royale, just to have the first one, and who knows, they may have had it, but again, I didn't get to finish. But I did get a lot of good stuff. I'm thankful for that, and I'm glad we made it back in time to say goodbye to my mother-in-law, because that would have been sad if we didn't. Okay, I got Raymond Chandler, The High Window, with this Tom Adams cover. And I don't think I have this cover. I have the book, but I don't think I have this cover. I have to double check that later, but I'm pretty sure I don't. Or at least it wasn't listed as such in my book file. This wasn't something I normally would buy. This is Perry Mason, The Case of the Ice Cold Hands. Luckily, it got good reviews. I only had it in my hand because it was in such fine shape. It's an old vintage book, and it was just unread and nothing wrong with it, and just survived all that time, even getting stored in a box, getting put out on a shelf and whatnot. So I just held on to it and didn't know if I'd get it or not, and then at the last second I just paid for everything and left, so I wound up with it. But it got good reviews, so that's good. Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. Not something I would normally ever read. It is in pretty nice condition, old paperback. I liked, of course, the movie with Laurence Olivier that I saw not too long ago. So, and then I got the other updated version, and so it's nice to have in my collection if I ever want to read it. This looked interesting. The Outlaws of Sherwood by Robert McGinnis. Kind of like a Robin Hood novel. Sorry for the glare. I don't know why. The lights over here and the plastic bags on the books. And then I got The Searchers. I already have this book, but it was in really nice condition. I mean, it's a reading copy. It's a little creased, but overall it was nice condition. And I just thought, well, maybe I'll give it to my son to read someday. I might have another reading copy also, if I'm assuming he would read the book, my son. But let's see. Gods and Generals by Jeff Shara. His father wrote The Killer Angels. And this has good reviews. Mixed. I mean, there's always some people that, are going to put stuff down. I don't know if they're valid or not. I'll read the book hopefully someday and see. Soldier Blue. This I have, but it's a rarity. And so if I see it, I get it in 50 cents. Why not? Of course, that was a movie. It was originally called Arrow in the Sun, and it's by T.V. Olson. So here's where having the books spine down where I couldn't see the titles messed me up a little bit. I wound up with 2 duplicates, which I'll get to in a second. So first I've got Isaac Asimov Foundation. It's an old paperback copy of it. Then I wound up with 2 copies of Second Foundation. When I was grabbing them, I didn't really pay attention. Isaac Asimov, I was just taking the books. I was going to go through them after and put back what I didn't want. But this one's in fine shape, and this one's like a reading copy. It's like a little clip-off piece of the cover clipped off over there. But, good reading copy for the train. And then I also wound up with two of these. Isaac Asimov, Foundation and Empire. And this would be the reading copy. This will be the one to save. So overall, considering the amount of time I had, I did pretty good. Probably would have come home with like 50 books. There's the phone. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was my wife checking in and letting me know what was going on, making funeral arrangements and so forth. So like I was saying, that had I had more time to look, I mean, I would have come home with like 50 books from that sale alone probably. So maybe it was a good thing that we had to leave early. And that's it. It was a great trip, just, sad at the end. And unfortunately, that's life. The game of life, no one gets out alive, right? Not very original, but that's a fact. So, until next time, adios. It's Wednesday, August 23rd, and it was a pretty big day for my family, especially for my wife and her brother and sister. As I mentioned in a past video clip, my mother-in-law died last Sunday. She was 89, and today was the burial service. My brother-in-law read a very nice long piece that he wrote about his mom, and my wife read a poem that she wrote. She's very good at writing poetry, and now we all have to, move on. It's just the way of life. Tomorrow comes, and the next thing, and the next day, and that's the reality of reality. The reality of reality. Okay, that's kind of a good one, actually. So, usually these video clips are supposed to be about counting down to retirement and what books I purchased. All happy, like, yay, I got books. The books here are books that I found in my mother-in-law's apartment. Some of them surprised me, and so I was there cleaning up yesterday with my wife, and came across these books, and I was showing them to her, and she thought I should take them, kind of inherit them. She knows how much I love books, and knows I'll take care of them. So I'm going to show what books I have here. This whole thing's kind of awkward, right? I mean, it's not a book haul, obviously, and I'm happy to take care of these. And actually, I keep a book list, and next to each book that I came home with yesterday, I wrote my mother-in-law's name next to it, so I could always look back and say that book was from that time. And so I'm going to show the books now. Some of these I'm just surprised that she had. I don't know how they ended up in her possession. Some of them may be with books that she was interested in and read, and some I just don't know how they got there. Especially one in particular, which I'll get to in a little while. The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood, written and illustrated by Howard Pyle. And that's actually something that interests me. I've in the past tried to find like a decent Robin Hood book just out of curiosity, and so I was happy to see that. This I picked up recently, on a trip to Maine, I believe, and so this will be a good reading copy on Her Majesty's Secret Service, Ian Fleming. Yeah, I picked this up in Maine just a few days ago with a handful of other James Bond books. Now this is one of the, I guess, the triad of like famous Greek books. There's the Odyssey and the Iliad by Homer, and then there's this one. I guess you pronounce it the Aeneid. I'm not really sure, so if you're laughing at me, go ahead and laugh. So Virgil's great epic poem concerning the adventures of the Trojan hero Aeneas in a new translation by Patrick Dickinson. So this is the one that I needed. I have the other two, so I needed that one. I've seen it around, but it's never in good condition, so that was actually in very good condition. This one here my wife has in, I think, hardcover, so now we've got it in paperback and soft cover. The Groucho letters from and to Groucho Marx. The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is an abridged version. I have the other unabridged version, and it's like twice as thick. So, but nice to have. This one I have no idea how my mother-in-law had this. Louis L'Amour Beaudry's Law. The Texas Ranger, short stories. She must have got it from somebody. I'm not sure how, but that was kind of cool to find. This is a book that my mother-in-law is supposed to have really liked, and we ordered it. My wife and I ordered it for her. Gee, I don't know, like 10 years ago online. It might have been like Alibris or Abe Books that we got this for her. Defy the Tempest by Sylvia Dannett and Edwin Bennett. A thriller novel classic, a full-length novel. So when I saw this, it was still in great condition, and so I figured, she thought it was a really good book. Maybe I'll read it, get around to reading it one day, and see what I think about it. Defy the Tempest. Then this was a nice surprise. Tarzan and the Leopard Men. This is a first edition from 1935. It's still in great shape. I'm not think anybody. It's like a little bit frayed, but overall it's in great shape. I don't know if anybody read it. Maybe not. But pretty cool. I collect the Tarzan books, so that was nice to find. Give me a second to organize here. Then I got this. My wife has this in hardcover, I think. Jimmy Stewart, a biography by Mark Elliott. Here's something that was very nice. The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett. This is looks like possibly unread. Hardcover. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I think I have this in a smaller paperback. It's probably the same stories. It's like 12 stories in it. And it's kind of like what they call Deckle Edge. D-E-C-K-L-E. Deckle Edge. And Ellery Queen's Headlines 26th Mystery Annual. It says stories by Isaac Asimov and Cornell Woolrich. He wrote Rear Window, although I'm sure the short story, I'm sure the movie was changed a bit. There's a lot of other people in here too, but I don't know who they are. But it's short stories, and happy to have it. This here, this is a big thick book, and it's something that I'm glad to have because I have been collecting World War II books. This looks like it got a lot of good reviews. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, and it's in great shape. It was a little bit torn up here, but I had this like special black tape, like hinge tape. I think it's hinge tape. I got it from like a book repair company, so I put that on here, and it goes good with the book, and so that'll keep it nice for many more years. And then my wife has this, but she wasn't sure that she had it. I actually brought it home for her. Turns out she had it, and so I'll keep it. When I watch the movie, maybe I'll be interested enough to want to look at the book a bit. The Art of Gone with the Wind, The Making of a Legend by Judy Cameron and Paul J. Christman. This was actually a book that my wife got for her mother, so kind of just got it back. And this is something that I bought for my mother-in-law a few years ago. It's called, I found this outside Strand, Great Stars of the American Stage by Daniel Bloom. And it didn't have a dust jacket, but I thought that she would enjoy it. It was, I'll show you, just a little bit of text, but mostly it was like pictures of like old famous stars of the stage. But there's people, I just like looking at pictures of like faces and just see how people used to look, especially like old Native Americans and stuff. I love looking at pictures. But in here there was who was it? Come on, help me. What's the name I'm thinking of? Oh man, it's like, what a time to draw a blank. Hold on. Got it. I found the page in here. This is kind of what made me want to keep the book. It's Marlon Brando, and there's pictures of him, different points in his life as a kid. And so there's other people in here that I've heard of, and I just looking at the old pictures and seeing what people used to look like. So that's the book. Those are the books. And then picked up here, I should say picked up, but kind of inherited Pride and Prejudice. This is the one I don't have. I have the other two versions, so it'd be interesting to watch this one and see how it compares to the others. I was happy to see that. And this, Myrna Loy and William Powell, who did Thin Man movies. These are a collection of other movies that they did together, 5 of them that are not the Thin Man movies. So that was pretty cool. And that's it. So, what do you say? It's sad when you lose a loved one, and my wife has a lot of support though. I do love my wife a lot, and I'm here for her, and we'll move on. That's it. So, but we never forget. That's the thing. You don't want to forget. You just want to celebrate the life of the person who passed, and remember them, and that's all we can do. That's what I do with my dad. So, till next time, take care. It's Wednesday, August 25th, almost at the end of August, not quite. By the end, next Friday will be the 1st of September, and we will be down to 22 months in this countdown, which is pretty cool. Okay, what did I get the last few days book-wise? So I ordered on the internet. You've heard of the internet, right? Helen McGinnis Horizon, which is really why I ordered. I wanted the more vintage type cover. And then it came with Cloak of Darkness by Helen McGinnis. So that there's a few more McGinnis books I need to get to finish out the collection. And then I hope I get to read them. But I'll have them. So when I do want to read them and have the time, they'll be there. Okay, this I found at Strand for $1. It's the Wilson Quarterly, and it was outside. I'm surprised. I don't even know what made me look at it. I just, it's like sitting this way, and it's not very big, the writing. And I just pulled it out of the stacks, and there it was. So that's pretty cool. It's a Carl Bodmer painting, and from dating around 1832, 1833. And there's a few articles in here about Native Americans, and some other stuff is in here too. Again, it's the Wilson Quarterly New Year's edition, 1986. So that's 30 years ago, 31 years ago. Wow, where'd the time go? Then, also at Strand, this was $2, The American West. And this is the Pictorial Epic of a Continent by Lucius Beebe and Charles Clegg. And this book has a lot of old images in here, along with some text. But it's just all these old images, look like from old newspapers or illustrated newspapers. And it's pretty cool. Just to see, how people used to kind of entertain themselves back then. What they found amusing, and the artwork is very telling in a way, because some of it's comical, but it looks interesting. Then this I had seen in a bookstore, and it was kind of messed up, so I didn't get it, and it was on my mind for a couple of months. I finally broke down and paid for it. It's Cavalry, The History of a Fighting Elite by V. Vuksik and Z. Grobasic. So clearly these guys are not native-speaking English people, from what I could tell. Especially looking at the text, some of it, or at least from the one page I opened up to that I know about, which was the cavalry, the U.S. cavalry. They spelled Keogh, Captain Keogh. They spelled his name, said it Keogh. They spelled it Koeg, Koeg. It's printed in China. Great art in here. I'm going to show you. You can see from the cover, but there might be issues with the text. I'm not really sure, but hopefully it's not that bad. The pictures are really great, which is the main reason for getting it. I mean, there's even one with Native American on it. That's in this purse. Let me get that one. Give me just a second. Here we go. So it's got a lot of really nice artwork, and I'm glad to have it. Then today, this was $1. Harry Jackson. This was outside at Strand, and again, this is the kind of thing, from the side, it says Harry Jackson, which I didn't really know who it was. I just thought Jackson, Wyoming when I saw it. 40 years of his work, 1941 to 81. I didn't know that it was like Western. I'm not really familiar with Harry Jackson's work. But I'm going to show you some pictures in here. Some of them are color, some are black and white. There's even a few fold-outs. Basically, he did like sculptures. There's not only Native American work in here, there's other work too. But the Native American work is the reason why I purchased it. There's one really cool one I want to see if I... Oh, here it is. Algonquin Chief and Warrior. So for $1, and there's a little bit of, there's some text. This is one of the fold-outs. I'm not going to fold it out, but this picture folds out. And there's another picture on the other side of it. And there's a little bit of text. Look good. For $1, can't go wrong, right? And then, belonged to an organization in England, studies Battle of the Little Bighorn and related topics to General George Armstrong Custer, or I should say Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. And this is the Crow's Nest magazine they put out. This is from January-December 2016, so it is quite late. But glad to have it. Cool cover. That is Charles Russell painting. And the back's got a nice image too. I forget the guy, his name that did that. It's not. I'm sure it's listed inside. But there you go. So that's the current book haul. And tomorrow we're going to 2 or 3 used bookstores in New Jersey. We'll see what happens. I'm looking for some more Helen McGinnis books I don't have, and whatever else catches my fancy. Some westerns maybe. So we'll see. And till then, take care. It's Saturday night, August 26th, 2017, if you're wondering. And this is another book haul update video. So today we went to New Jersey, my wife, my son, and myself. We went to 4 used bookstores and came home with 48 books. 40 of them were mine. No surprise there if you've been watching these videos, which nobody has. Not really. And my wife came home with 5 and my son 3, including a Doctor Who book he was happy to find because those go pretty quick, especially at used bookstores. So the books that I purchased, the 40 books, came to a total of about $53, $54. That's really impressive because that averages out to about $1.33 or $1.34 each book. At Strand, where I usually shop during the week, and mostly I just look at the books outside. But if you go inside and look at like the vintage paperbacks, a lot of the ones I bought here are $15 each, $10, $15, crazy prices. I was getting them for $1. Wait till you see some of the stuff I got. I'm gonna get to that in a moment. So really, you got to get out there and shop. I mean, sure, you go out for the day, there's gas in the car, you probably eat out and all, but it's all a part of an enjoyable experience, especially if you're with your family. And book prices, you're more willing to spend money if you're getting a lot for your money. So it's a good deal. Okay, so what did I get? Okay, let's start over here. This book, From Here to Eternity by James... I didn't mean to put my middle finger up. From Here to Eternity by James Jones. I have this book. It's, by the way, very good movie. I don't know how it compares to the book. I haven't read the book yet. I have a copy of this book, but it's an older copy, and even if I read it gently, I'm not sure how it's going to hold up. It won't fall apart, but it's aged. And while this book is no youngster, its overall feels more solid to me, so it would make a good backup to have. Next, Players of Gore by John Norman. Once in a while I buy a Gore book. I have not read any yet. I once read a John Norman Western, which was submissive female in the book. I thought it was kind of interesting. The book could have been better historically. But overall, I thought, kind of like the idea that he was playing with there. Okay, call me a sexist pig, I don't know. It was just, fantasy. So, this book here, I thought it had a really cool cover. I don't know, I just liked it. It was $3. And, again, I really liked the cover. So, I figured I'd just add that to my collection. Plus, came out this is 1984, and that was the year I graduated high school. So, when I put it in, those terms, I like the cover, graduated high school, I said, oh, I'll get it. This one here, What's Up, Doc? It's a movie that starred Barbra Streisand and Ryan O'Neal. This was a great movie. I watched it a few months ago, and so when I saw the book, it was in excellent condition, and figured I'd pick that up. What the hell? Okay. A.A. Fair, who's Earl Stanley Gardner. You Can Die Laughing. I have this. I think it's a different cover that I have. But I like the cover, so I picked it up. I don't remember how much I paid, but it was cheap. Might have been $1.50 or something like that. At most, it was $3. I don't remember. Earl Stanley Gardner, again, A.A. Fair, his pen name, and this is called Top of the Heap. And so it was a cool cover again, so there you go. Now these next few books are all Mike Shayne books. These are awesome covers by, most of them by Tom McGinnis. $1. And it's an excellent shade. $1. This one is The Blonde Cried Murder. Brett Halliday, Mike Shayne, Tom McGinnis cover. Again, Mike Shayne, Tickets for Death, $1. Excellent condition. Mike Shayne, Murder Takes No Holiday. I might have one or two of these. I don't remember. I just saw them for $1. I wasn't going to look it up and say, oh no, I've got that one. For $1, you got to be nuts. I'm buying it. So, again. Another one. $1. A Taste for Violence. Tom McGinnis cover. His name's Tom, right? Almost certain. And this one is not a Tom McGinnis cover, but it's a Murder and the Married Virgin. Brett Halliday. It was $1. And this is the last one. I think I bought it in another store. I don't remember how much. It might have been $1.50. I think it was $1.50. Mike Shayne Mystery, Count Backwards to Zero. This is one of those 1970 style covers. Not as cool as the older ones, but for the price I figured I'd get it. I already have a few like that. Then, this was brand new, not read. I think it was $1.50. Raymond Chandler, Killer in the Rain. It's a Tom Adams cover. And I've had luck finding James Bond books lately. So this one here, but I'm still looking for is Casino Royale. That would be nice to find the first one. I haven't found that yet. But this is Goldfinger. These are all inexpensive, like $1.50 maybe. The Man with the Golden Gun. And For Your Eyes Only. Then, some more paperbacks here first. Bruce Catton Glory Road. It's an old vintage paperback. I'm sure it's in hardcover too. If I ever see it, maybe I'll get it. But this was just a cool cover. It was in great shape. Old vintage. Hard to say no to. And this got very good ratings. F. Vanwyck Mason, The Young Titan. These old kind of vintage cover. You can see like a British soldier kissing this sexy woman's neck. It's be hard to see. And it's got good reviews. So he wrote like historical novels, and I like that stuff, so I'll give it a chance. This, I think I've seen at other times, I just never bought it. Maybe the price wasn't right. An Uncommon Enemy, Michelle Black. This is a Custer novel about the Battle of the Washita. At least part of the book is about that. And I don't remember what I paid for it. It might have been like $1.50, something like that. So it was in really nice shape. So I got it. Then these were all 50 cents. These next few books here. Louis L'Amour Volume 1. I have this in hardcover, but if I want to, go on the train with it and read some short stories, this would be easier to take with me. And then I got Volume 2, 50 cents, and great shape. And Louis L'Amour Volume 6, Part 1. These are crime stories, not westerns, but his crime stories. And it got good reviews online, so 50 cents. I'm not going to debate it too long. I got it. Border Lords, Terry Johnston. I have this. I have it in hardcover and softcover, or I should say paperback. So this is my second paperback copy. It's got a cool cover. Worth getting again. It was just 50 cents. It's in great shape. 50 cents. Then, also, I think this was 50 cents too. Streets of Laredo, Larry McMurtry, 50 cents, and it was like in brand new condition. I have it, but it was 50 cents. Why shouldn't I get it? Because I have no room? Is that going to stop me? Geronimo, War Chief series, Bill Dugan. I'm sure that's a pen name. There you go. Cool cover. I have it, but it was cheap. I think it was 50 cents. This one here, I don't even know what this is called. It's, I guess it's called Young Wild. Well, it's like different names here. It's like an old dime novel reprint. Running the Gauntlet, or The Pawnee Chief's Last Shot. And it's authored by an old scout. There's no name even. It's an old scout. Gotta look this up online, see if I can find anything out about it. Who really wrote it, and if it's known. But it looks, it's kind of cool, and it was inexpensive. Then this one here, The Crossing, Clay Fisher, who's Will Henry, who is Henry Wilson Allen, I believe is his real name. And I see this online a lot. Have it saved to hopefully purchase someday, but I just never do it. Because again, like I said in the past, like I said before, there's the price of the book plus the shipping, and I just never followed through with getting it. Down to today. And the original price here is 35 cents. I don't know what I paid for it. It was under $1. It had to be under $1 considering the prices I paid for the other books here. I think that I might have paid, maybe he charged me 35 cents for like the original price. I don't even know, but it was cheap. And this one here, also, same store. It's like brand new, Pemmican, Vardis Fisher. Beautiful cover. I have this book, but it was like just excellent condition, just sitting there on the shelf. I don't know how that happened. Like, I mean, it survived all those years from like the 1950s to now. And again, this one also was 50 cents originally, and I didn't pay a lot for it. At most $1, probably less. Okay, down to a few last of the books that I purchased. Faintly Sounds the War Cry. This is like a booklet by Fred Werner. It's the story of the Battle of Butte, January 8, 1877, when Colonel Nelson Miles attacked Crazy Horse. And I have this, my voice cracked, I don't know why. I have this book, and it was 50 cents, so yes, I got it again. What the hell, it's 50 cents. If I ever, have reason to need another one, I've got it. I don't know why I would need another one, but it was 50 cents. Did I say that? Yeah, put that over here. Okay, then 50 cents again. Raymond Chandler by Frank McShane. Excellent condition. It's not written in. A minor crease in the spine, but nothing too bad. And 50 cents. Actually, there were 3 for $1 or 50 cents each, and I bought 4. So one of them I did pay the full 50 cents. The other 3 I paid like 33 cents. So that book actually there was part of the original 3 for $1. So I actually paid only 33 cents for that. This was $4. The Personal Narrative of James O'Patty. Introduction by William H. Gutzman. And again, this is $4. This has, it's a good story, although it seems to be somewhat fictional. From what I've read about it, it's one of the few Mountain Man books I don't have, so now I added it to the collection. It just seemed like now's the time to get it. So, and then, these were $2 each. Now let me show you here. Indians as the Westerners Saw Them, and Curtis as Western Indians. Of course, that's Edward S. Curtis. So these books are put together by Ralph W. Andrews. And lots of cool photos, some text. Let me show you here. Now, this book here, I have a special reason for getting. I actually, well, okay, let me go back for a second. So when I was a kid, my dad bought me this book. Had a different cover, was brown. It was this book, and I wish I could find that brown cover again. I have that book still. It's an awesome book. It was one of my favorite books as a kid. I'll explain why in a second. But the spine is cracking. It's old, and the spine's cracking. This book I have in this copy again with this cover, and I saw it again for $2. I'm going to buy it. Let me show you some of the pictures in it. I mean, just a lot of pictures. I used to just love looking at this book when I was a kid. There's some first-hand narratives in here. So, like for instance, on this one here, it's called My Last Buffalo Hunt, and you can see there's pictures next to it. Not necessarily related to the article, but just pictures of Native Americans all throughout this book. Let me find something else here. So there's several chapters with the first-hand accounts of people from the Old West, and like it's called Indians as the Westerners Saw Them. So it's Western narratives about Native Americans, experiences with Native Americans, whether it be fighting, friendship, or what have you. So again, my father bought this for me as a kid, brown cover. I used to love looking at this book, memorizing all the pictures and the names. So, great find, great shape, not cracked or anything. Now, I've said before that I purchased 3 books for $1. So the other 2 books besides the Frank McShane book are this Time Life People of the Desert, which I don't believe I have. This would be a new one, which is cool to get. Something new. And this I do have, but it was, again, like 33 cents, so The Mighty Chieftains. And these are like brand new books. They're not written in. They're excellent condition. So that's what. Oh, I have some more books here. They were behind the stack. So if you've been watching my videos, yeah, right, like that's happening. So I've been buying some Helen McGinnis books. So I found some today, some new, some that I already have, but they were so cheap I just had to get them. Neither 5 nor 3, and I have this one, but again it was cheap and I bought it. The Snare of the Hunter, this one I don't have. I think I need like 2 or 3 to finish the her book series. Well, not so much series, but just all the books that she wrote, some of which are a series. The ones at the end of her career, I believe, were like 3 or 4 books that were part of a series. So again, The Snare of the Hunter, Helen McGinnis. Okay, so then this book here, Agent in Place. This is, I believe, part of a series, and it's okay. It's like a good reading copy. I didn't even put it in a book bag. It's a little bit creased, but it was cheap, and I picked it up. But then I went to another store afterwards and found it, I think, for like $1.50, and or close to that anyway. Much better condition. Put that in the bag, and so I got a reading copy and a copy to save. Cloak of Darkness I got the other day, but saw it, picked it up again. The other one I have, I think this is a little bit better condition, so the other one I'll use as a reading copy and save this one. And then this is, I believe, the last book she wrote, Ride a Pale Horse, Helen McGinnis. So 40 books, that's the end of that part. And let me show you what my wife got here. This I found for her, The $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman from 1976. I spotted that one. And I think I also I spotted this one too. The Making of Gone with the Wind by Gavin Lambert. And she didn't have this, because she has a lot of Gone with the Wind books, but she didn't have this one. And also I spotted this book for her. I was just hot. I was on fire today, man, finding books. Pillow Talk by Marvin H. Albert. What's interesting is Marvin Albert also wrote westerns, and here he's writing Pillow Talk. This is a cool cover. Doris Day and Rock Hudson. And another one I found for my wife, Hello Dolly. And then she found for herself here, George Burns' 100 Years, 100 Stories. So, a very successful book haul day. Had a great time, went out for lunch, had some ice cream, and now I gotta find places for all these books. Plus I have to list them in a file that I keep, so when I go shopping I have record of what I already own, which doesn't stop me from buying it again a lot of the times. But still, it's good to have the list. So, that's it for this one. I'm sure I'll find something at Strand outside this week, probably before Friday, for the end of month video. And till then, bye. It's Wednesday night, August 30th, and if I find nothing tomorrow at Strand, this will be my last video clip of the month. I'm kind of hoping this is the last clip, otherwise tomorrow I have to do another short clip. Okay, so what's new? So let me go over the few items I got the last couple of days. Yesterday at Strand, or was it 2 days ago? But my memory's going. I think it was 2 days ago. It was 2 days ago. Picked up 2 books at Strand. Well, one is a catalog I'll get to in a second. So I picked up The Borderland. This was $1 outside. It's like in pretty much brand new condition, by Edwin Shrake. And it's a Western, takes place in Texas in the 1830s. I think it's 1839. And got mixed reviews, but, you know, I was skimming through it, looked interesting. I might like it. Then I found this catalog. It's a Sotheby's catalog Actually, I have it in this, let me get it out of here a second. I have it in the protective sleeve. This is a back cover. It's Native American. It's Arts of the American West, a collection from the David J. Brown family. This was $1 outside. And let me get some pictures here. So there's some moccasins, and there's some paintings in here. The stuff that I really like is, for instance, the shirts, all the beadwork. It's beautiful stuff. The Native American, the different tribes, Native Americans did some really wonderful quill work, beadwork, great stuff. Then, let me just put this down over here. Yesterday, I went to a paperback store near my home. They have a lot of paperbacks. They have some other books besides paperbacks. Mostly it's paperbacks. And it's just kind of messy, and I don't really care for the way the condition of many of the books is not that good, and the owner, for some reason, he writes the price inside, and then he writes it in pencil, like presses hard into the cover. Who does that? Why would you mess up the book? So I'm not even going to give him, and the store is really dusty and dirty, I'm not even going to give him any advertising here. So I picked this up. It was almost $3. Ross Macdonald, My Name is Archer. And the name is Archer, not my name, but the name is Archer. And this is, I think, the last book of the Lou Archer series that I needed to get in paperback. So finally have it. It was a hard one to track down, that particular title, so I was glad to at least find that while I was in there. I was looking for some Helen McGinnis titles I don't have, which I bought on the internet pretty inexpensively. Hopefully they show up in good condition sometime next week, so I'll show those when I get them. And then today in the mail, I wasn't expecting this today. It was supposed to be tomorrow. Actually, it was supposed to be a few days ago. It was late, and then according to the post office, I was going to get it tomorrow, and it was like a loud thump outside my door earlier this evening, and it was there. Luckily, the thump didn't destroy the book, because sometimes they could throw it or drop it and like bend the corner or something, but luckily it was in good shape. So this is The History of Cavalry by Z. Grabasic and V. Vuksik. I'm probably saying their names a little bit wrong. I have another book by these two guys that's just, I showed it in a previous video. It's got a lot of illustrations like this. This one also had except this isn't the same book, it's a different book. But this also had a really cool painting, well, not painting, an illustration. Here, this is kind of a cool one. So it's all, cavalry related history, and between the two of them by these authors, they look pretty good. I hope to read these in the next year, 2 years, few months, who knows. And was there anything else I had to say? Oh, so this is hopefully the end of the month clip here, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Saturday we're going to a couple of bookstores and out to a train museum for my son. And so hopefully I find a few paperbacks on Saturday. My voice is going. That's about it then. So for this video, some cool stuff I think I found. And what happened to my voice? I need a drink. So it's late. It's actually just a little bit after midnight now, so really it's Thursday already. Gotta get up early. Good night. Well, it's Thursday, August 31st, and I am laughing because yesterday I thought it would be the last clip of the month. And then what happened, I went to Strand today and came home with 5 books. So before I get to that, it didn't really matter anyway, because I forgot that at the end of the month I review it, well, not really review the movies, but just tell what movies I watched. So I had to make another clip anyway. So let's Okay, I got cut off there for a second, so let's continue. So these are the movies that I watched in sequence that I watched them, and I'll rate them from 1 to 5, 5 being the best. So I watched Taken with Liam Neeson. That's the first of a trilogy. I give that a 4. I didn't watch the other two. Those didn't get as good reviews. I got so much to watch. I don't really have to go watch them. Maybe someday. Then I watched a movie called Remember with Christopher Plummer. And that was it was pretty good. I'd give that like maybe a 3.5 to 4. The ending kind of saves it. Surprise ending. Vivacious Lady with Jimmy Stewart and Ginger Rogers. I'd give that a 4. I watched it with my son, Doctor Who, The Waters of Mars. I'd give that like a 3. I guess if I was younger, I think it was a lot more cool. It was okay. The More the Merrier with Gene Arthur and Joel McCrea. I'd give that a 4. Sands of Iwo Jima, famous World War II movie with John Wayne. I'd give that a 4. The Devil and Miss Jones, Gene Arthur and Charles Coburn. I'd give that a 5 or close to it. The Big Bluff, Martha Vickers and John Bromfield. A 3. A movie called Nightmare. And I don't remember who was in that. It's I watched it on YouTube. It was okay. I'd give it like okay is not even a 3, like a 2, 2.5. So maybe less than okay. I just didn't really care for it too much. As Wicked as They Come with Arlene. Having a hard time reading my writing. It might be Arlene Dahl. Dahl, maybe. And Philip Carey. That I would give a 4. That was a pretty good movie, As Wicked as They Come. Then I watched Dragonwyck with Vincent Price. Dragonwyck. Vincent Price and Gene Tierney. I'd give that movie like a 2. Now, I feel bad doing that. There's a lot of good acting in the movie. I like the visuals. It was very gothic, and there are things to like about the movie, but not being religious, boy, there was just some cringeworthy God talk in that movie. It was just enough to be like, ugh, I just couldn't take it. So I go with a 2. Now, if you don't care about that kind of thing, maybe you'd give it a 3.5, 4, 4.5. I wouldn't call it a 5-star movie, even if you don't mind religion or like it or believe in it or whatever. But I wouldn't call it a 5-star movie. But for me, just because some of the cringeworthy God talk, I give it a 2. Excuse me. Then I watched an excellent movie last night, called Waterloo Bridge. Now, there's 2 of them. I watched the 1931 version with May Clark and Douglas Montgomery. And I'd give that movie like a 4.5. It's really good. Okay, what did I buy today at Strand? So, first outside, let me do this in order here. I bought this book here, Indians, by Joanna Cohen Scherer. Now, this book I have, but it was only $2. It's got a lot of nice pictures in it. It was in great shape. Let me show you here. I thought it was worth having another copy for only $2. I'm trying to find something that's like would look good on camera, maybe. There's a lot of nice pictures. There's text also, and here. So I like books like that, and I hated to see it sit there and not have me own it, so I bought it. Then inside for $2, this was in the art catalog, the auction catalog section. I was happy to find another Scottsdale art auction catalog, and this has some mostly Art of the West stuff. This is a Joe Beeler painting. There's a few fold-outs. And here, let's see. Here's one that I haven't even looked at yet. This is not a fold-out with Native Americans. This was... Where'd it go? I just had it a second ago. that's the Native American one. Excuse me. Where'd you go? It's funny, I was opening up the book, kept hitting that page, and now that I want the page, it's not there. Oh, here. Here's one of a lion. It's cool art. Again, most of it's, or a lot of it is Western art. Let's see here. Oh, and that's also the picture on the cover, right? So, pretty cool for $2. Lots of nice pictures in there. Then inside, I got... Oh, that one was inside, and these other three are from inside. So, American Frontier Life. This book I have was $5, like practically brand new. Got a lot of nice pictures in here. So I just thought I'd get a second copy. I'd regret leaving such a nice book like that behind. Art, American Frontier Life, Early Western Painting and Prints. And this is by Tyler, I believe, Ron Tyler. Well, actually, there's different authors here. Peter Hasrick wrote the introduction, then Ron Tyler, Carol Clark, and some others, Herman Viola, and a couple others wrote essays in there. Then the next two books have to do with the same artist. Alan Hauser, who's an Apache, Chiricahua Apache, I believe is the specific tribe. And this is the Centennial Exhibition. This was $8. It's a soft cover. And I'll show you, like, so usually he does sculpture. So this is mostly drawings that he did. And yeah. So there's lots of cool stuff in there. And then there was a book on him by Barbara H. Perlman. Now I have another book on Hauser, a hardcover like this one. It's more recent. This one is probably from the, I'm going to guess around 1990-ish, 1987. So it's Alan Hauser by Barbara H. Perlman. It's kind of like a biography and you know, all about him and his art. So let's see if I have any good pictures in here to show. So that was pretty cool. This one I paid a little more than I normally would. Okay, I'll tell you. I paid $20 for this one, which is usually I won't do anything like that. You know, $5-10, maybe 12. But there were two of them there, and the other one was really kind of messed up. And I knew if I left without this, I was going to feel bad. And so I figured I was getting the other one for $8, and I have the other book. So that kind of completes the Alan Hauser collection, unless I see like a catalog of his work somewhere. So that's it for the month of August. So now tomorrow's September 1st, and we're down to 22 months. For some reason, like the past month is like, yay, another month, and this month was a little bit hectic. And then, you know, school's starting up, and for my son, my wife goes back to work. I don't know. And plus, I keep buying more books, and I mean, I know I say this all the time. I have no room. I'm just out of room. I keep finding ways to reorganize things, but it just can't go on forever. I know that, and I don't know what to do because, I mean, even this weekend, where am I going? Books. And then the weekend after that, where am I going? Books. And every day, where do I go when I go to work? Books. Strand. So it's just, I'm a bibliomaniac. I need help. Not help to stop buying books. I need a bigger place to live. I need more money. Okay. So Yay, end of the month. Yay, 22 months to go. I can't imagine what's going to be in 22 months with all the books I can get between now and then and what I've already got. Oh, what a headache. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Till next time. Bye.